All right. How y'all doing? Been a little while 'cause I'm up in Illinois now. We were up at my parents' place up in Illinois, and been up here doing some. We're gonna get ready to do some painting, and so I've been out of the out of my normal routine, but I want to get on here and do a meditation video. And yeah, I hope you all are meditating, and I hope you all are enjoying it. Um, and getting like more specific questions, like maybe some of the concepts I'm talking about might be a little philosophical, and that's just how my brain thinks. But I think the questions that I've been kind of getting are more like, well, how do you just get into meditation? Like, what's like the first step? And so I think I talked about this, but how I got into meditation is I had gotten in a motorcycle accident. And when I was recovering from surgery, I was listening to a lot of Jordan Peterson and Sam Harris talk about what is a fact. Uh, what were they talking about? I can't remember what they were talking about. But they were doing these big debates, and it was really good what they were getting into. It was kind of like, I don't know. It was kind of like, I forget. Yeah, I think it was Plato or might have been Aristotle. Talk about the forms. So basically, is a chair because you know it as a chair through language and through generations just saying that's a chair? Or is a chair because it looks like a chair? It's got the form of a chair. And so, what is reality? Like, what is a fact? Is a chair? Or is a chair because we call it a chair? Or why is the brain like we will name things and get used to things and we will know things by their forms, but underneath us just knowing it and using it in our language, what really makes it a chair? So I think that Sam Harris and Jordan were kind of talking about that kind of stuff. Um, and that's the kind of stuff that you start to think about when you meditate. Um, but so yeah, I was listening to them a lot, and then I found out that both of them meditate. And so then I got into, being more interested in meditation. And Sam Harris has a intro to meditation video. And so that's what I watched. It's on YouTube. And like an introduction into mindfulness. So that's where I started. That's what I watched. Like I said, I had heard people talk about mindfulness before. Like my younger brother, years before, was talking to me about it. But like I said, I didn't really know. I didn't really know. I didn't really experience it until later. Um, and so yeah, so how do you get started? Like what are like the elementary kind of basic steps? And those are really important. And so, I would watch that Sam Harris intro to meditation video. Um, he kind of guides your thinking and helps you kind of discern a little bit, distinguish, like the idea of making the focusing on your breath more pronounced within your mind. And it is a little bit of an art to focus on your breath. And Sam Harris's video does a real good job of he like leads in into the meditation, and then he'll start talking about like, all right, notice, the way your hands feel, or you know um like the wind against your hands or your face. When you get into mindfulness, these things become much more pronounced and distinguishable from just the hustle, you know? And so you really have to calm your mind to notice these things and to realize these things. And the gist is, if you do that, you'll be more aware. You'll start becoming more aware. And and it can kind of awaken something in you. Maybe you are really busy in life, doing all this stuff, and you start to think of yourself as just this product of you start to think of the individual, like the agency of the individual, and since you have to work so hard to keep up with society, and a lot of the reward structures that you get your rewards from are through that type of thinking. If I do more, if I have a nicer house, if I look more aesthetically pleasing, if I, you know, whatever it is, whatever the reward structure is, mindfulness would say more so like, you know, that's not going to do it. That's not going to make you happy. What you have to do is you got to focus on yourself. The types of changes and the way that you want to know yourself comes from practice solidarity. And within that solidarity, you build this relation to the narrative that's going on within your mind, and therefore that's who you are. You're not some product of society um, that's going to make you fulfilled. It's actually slowing down. Just this simple idea of knowing yourself more, knowing your body more, being able to feel the wind against your face, those type of things. And so I don't, and it works. Why does it work? I don't know. I think it's just because of like awareness, because we are really like I said, I think our brain is just processing a lot of data all the time. And so if you start to tune that type of awareness, which that is like the brain is very aware, and it's communicating with your environment constantly, all the time. Um, and so if you start to tune that more towards your own life, then you'll know yourself better, and more or less you'll be more comfortable in your own skin, more or less, because you'll have that rapport, you'll have that relation to the narrative within your mind. And so the source comes from kind of the self, as opposed to other reward structures. So really what it is like you're changing your reward structure. You're changing the way you get rewarded in life. It's not from an aesthetic reward system, or um, kind of, I don't know. It's not an aesthetic reward system. It's kind of more like this holistic reward system in which you embrace all your senses, and and you develop this voice, this inner voice, um, which is that relation that you have to the narrative within your mind. And so, that can be pretty rewarding. That can be really rewarding. And I would even venture off to say it's what you're looking for when you think about being fulfilled is having a good relation to yourself. And I think it will help you with other relations within your life, other relations to other people, and also it will just help you with the relation you have to being here, being present, being part of life. Um, and so, yeah, I encourage you to read that Henry David Thoreau and people who have spent time reflecting on the self. And it makes a big difference, you know. When I think of somebody who expressed it more artistically, I think of Bob Marley. Somebody who, you know, had the ability to talk about the human condition, about being a human being. And that kind of stuff is really probably more like the fulfillment that you're looking for. Um, so, there's some positive benefits to mindfulness.